Hey, this is Terry Miller, and we are here at the Tom of Finland house, and we're going to take a tour with Sharp.
What? It's Terry! Hey. How are you? Welcome back to Tom House.
All right, thank you. I discovered Tom of Finland probably was like 15 or 16 years old, and I remember seeing a drawing that wasn't explicit, but it was just like one of his drawings of a sort of very muscular leather man, and just being like, oh my God, that's so cool. Tom of Finland Foundation was made a historic cultural monument for the city of LA.
Right. It just means that the property has been recognized, and they would ideally want to try and keep it the way it was when Tom lived here.
You see Tom of Finland drawings in almost every leather bar in the United States. You see them in tons of gay bars. So it's almost like code, like here's where we're accepted, here's where you will find a community for yourself.
I actually was in a leather bar and I saw a drawing on the bulletin board advertising a motorcycle run. Something in that drawing just attracted me to it, just pulled me to it. To see the way young men would come up and want to tell him how important he was in their development and how he had saved them and how he had been the thing that gave them hope, it made me realize that he was really unique.
This is from a really famous story about a motorcycle, club guy that gets his tattoos drawn on him by another guy.
Showing him off.
Showing him off, walking down the pier. They walk in front of a sailor who, of course, has a real tattoo.
Right.
And the sailor pushes them in the water. And
you silly posers.
You silly posers.
I met Tom in 77. He came in early 80, and we already had his room. And it was the top of the house in the attic, and we made sure that was his room, and that from that point on, it always was his room.
So the thing is that downstairs, we've always had fundraisers and parties and workshops. Tom could be downstairs, have a couple of gin and tonics with everybody, and then had to excuse himself and come up here because he had to draw.
It's just kind of a great place to sit and really think about and realize, like, history was made in this room. Important works of art were made in this room, works of art that were not seen as being very important but are now shown in international museums, were made in this room. And it's amazing to be a part of that history, and it's amazing to be a part of this community, because this house really is a small community unto itself.
I realized all we had to do was invite. And once we invite young people to come here, they love it. They love discovering what was happened before. They love to explore. And so now we have artists in residence from all over the world.
I feel like really being here was such a huge part of my education in the culture, and also having more intergenerational relationships. Like, before I came here, I never really had a mentor, and it was something that I think I was seeking, but I didn't know that I was seeking it.
I just had my few friends and that was it, and then the people I knew working in nightlife, but then here it just was able to expose me to a lot of different people and really helped me to find myself.
There are so many people coming and going out and popping by and asking questions, so it's really like energetic place to be.
Living at the house affected my artistry by giving me a more potent point of view, changed my perspective, being involved with a bunch of different artists from all over the world.
To be able to, like, support them, give them grants, give them a place to come and work on art, whether it's writing, visual art, film, performance. The Tom of Finland Foundation is a great receptacle for that.
I think it's really important for young people to know Tom's art, because we need to understand our history. It's very important to understand where we came from.
So much of his art influenced other artists and is still bleeding into new things today.
I wouldn't be here, like we wouldn't be doing these things that we are doing without Tom of Finland.
I mean, there's tons of Tom of Finland's work, and you would just discover it very gradually, like over the years. And so, and it helped to have friends who were into it too, who could like direct you in a path of showing you some, where you could find more of his art. It's like the same with It Gets Better project, it's like it only takes one person to say like, have you seen these videos? And then, you go online and there's a ton of videos, and they're not just from, gay men or lesbians. There's, parents out there, there's friends out there, there's trans people out there, and there's some really great videos by some like members of the kink community and leather community who are welcoming you into that community as well.
I mean, these are Hollywood cowboys. These are cowboys. Yeah, it's pretty clear they're not talking about the corn growing or horses breeding.
Right.
Yeah, they're talking about other stuff.
It is very Hollywood. It is very like cinematic.
Right.
But
But
it's
also
still-
very earnest.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they're gazing at each other is very earnest.
There's always a sort of camaraderie and friendship that happens at the end of each story. That's, I think, one of the most charming aspects of Tom of Finland's work. Front.